Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get started, shall we? So first of all, I'm going to start with my mood blanket, which I've been doing consistently every single day throughout this year, and I have been storing in this massive Shein bag. As you may know from my previous videos, I reuse Shein bags because I used to buy a lot from Shein, and I was like, great, I'll just use that as a project bag. So that's what I've been doing. It is full of my yarn and the blanket, and this is the blanket. Now, a traditional mood blanket is done with each day being one colour and represented by one colour, one stripe. However, I decided to do mine with changes throughout the day because my mood and my emotion changes throughout the day. So I decided to do it like this. I'm going to peek around the side, where throughout the day it changes, and as you will see as I move it across, it changes throughout the day. The cooler colours represent like a neutral state of mind, being content, and the warmer colours represent stronger emotions. So the odd strand of purple that you see, like the very bright purple, like here, that is joy, the orange is happy, the red is miserable. So there is a lot of red, but it's not completely overpowering, and that's why I kind of like it, because it allows me to reflect at the end of every day and think, how have I felt today? I just think this is a really good tool for self-reflection, and if you haven't done one this year, be sure to do one next year, either this way with the multiple like colours per row, or just the more traditional way. But yeah, be sure to check that out because I just think it's a great idea, and it's personally really helped me and like made me feel a lot better about my mental health. Just to reflect on everything has made quite a difference with my just general how I feel, so highly recommend that. Next, I'm going to talk about a project that I have been working on for literally months. It was one of the first crochet projects I ever started, but I don't know, something about the way it's methodical but also basic but also kind of complicated, just I can't, no, my brain just is not having it. And that is the that were viral last year, skull crocheted trousers, or pants if you're American, and I will show them to you right now. I have made a lot of these granny squares with the skull and the granny square stitch. It's not really focusing, but that's okay. So I have made them in this green and also in this lovely rich brown colour. It's just incredibly repetitive and tiring. So this is what it looks like so far. I've tried to do the squares somewhat randomly, except they are purely checkered on the back, which I did completely by mistake. I've got a piece of elastic in the waistband, so the waistband is really chunky because it's crochet doubled up with a piece of elastic in it, so it's really nice and stretchy, so it'll fit my waist and hug my waist, and I've got that much of a leg done. Next is another project that I have been working on for quite a while. It has been about a month and a half, and it has taken me forever because this was the first time I have ever attempted tapestry crochet or graph work, and I made the mistake of thinking that single crochets, if you're a crocheter you know exactly what I'm talking about, and I'm using US terms here because that's how I've learnt them, even though I'm British. The American single crochet, I was like, that's not going to be big enough, I want this to be long and oversized. So I decided to work it all in half double crochets. It was far too big, it's far too big, but I spent maybe 20 hours just on the graph and I didn't want to undo it or start again. So I've just left it as it is, and it is huge, and I will insert a clip of me like holding it up to my body because it is massive and quite frankly ridiculous, and I will try and show it here on camera as well as best as possible. So we've got shoulder portion. Oh yeah, because I was gonna I'm gonna make a sweater vest, and then the skull starts, and it just keeps going. It just keeps going, and there are so many mistakes. As you can see here at the bottom, the chin looks like it's fuzzy. That's because I couldn't count. and I was messing up so much at the start. But this whole massive piece of tapestry crochet, there we go, you can kind of see it there. Yeah, took me about 20 hours and I didn't want to redo it. So it's now a sweater vest dress because it comes below my knees. I am 5'8" and this goes from my shoulders to below my knees down here, and it still doesn't have any trim on it. So this is the front panel, which I have finished. I am currently working on that bit, and again, it's ridiculously long. It has taken me, again, a very long time just to do half double crochets for the entire back panel, because it is, I think the entire thing is 134 rows of half double crochets tall, and it's 120 stitches across because I want it to be nice and big and oversized. But yeah, it's taken me absolutely forever. So that project whip that I just showed you was inspired by a long sweater vest that I saw advertised. It like popped up on my Instagram feed as an ad from Shein, and I thought, hey, you're gonna charge me like what, 20-25 pounds for that? And I was like, I could make that. So that's what I have aimed to do. However, it has cost me about getting on for £80 to make because of the sheer amount of yarn that it has taken up. Yes, it was potentially a stupid decision, but I'm gonna love it so much more now, even though it has loads of mistakes. I have put time and effort into that, and I just think that's just way better than if I just bought it from Shein. But then it also occurred to me, because I've been watching Wednesday, and I was like, oh, this was perfect. This is definitely something that Wednesday would wear. Like, she would have this in her wardrobe. As like, we know she likes knit and crochet pieces because she wears some in the show. So this is literally perfect. It's a long sweater vest with a skull on it. That's very gothic, very Wednesday Addams. Perfect. That's what I'm going to say my inspiration was. So that's what my inspiration was. And for the next two whips, the next two projects, they are also inspired by Wednesday, the show, not the character this time. The character they are actually inspired by, and actually not inspired by, I'm doing recreations from the show, is Enid. I have been obsessed with hers and Wednesday's like fashion styles, and I cannot pick between the two aesthetics of which I prefer more. So I've decided to make a bit of both. So if you follow my Instagram and scroll back a bit, you will see that I made the iconic Wednesday Addams vest for my partner. And I have made various Wednesday dolls and amigurumi and all sorts of things like that. And now I am making some things inspired by Enid. And those things are Enid's skirt, which again I will insert a picture. She wears in episode 1, I believe, and is a floral sort of mini skirt look. And so far I have not actually made very much of the skirt, but I have another Shein bag full of flowers and yarn which I'm going to use to make these panels, which I sewed the top differently from the bottom so it does look kind of ugly. And I have as many of these panels as it takes to fit around my body. Yeah, I'm just going to make lots of these panels, attach them to a waistband, and they are going to go around my body as the skirt. And I have a pink skirt to wear underneath because obviously that's a big hole and that's going to be showing a whole lot of skin, and I don't like that. So I'm going to make lots more of these, and that is that work in progress, which I have not been able to work on in a while because I've had so many pattern tests, but it's in the works, it's getting there, okay? The next Enid inspired project is the sweater that she wears with that skirt, the pink and orangey stripy sweater. I decided I wanted to crochet it, and I decided I wanted to crochet that in 8/4 cotton, which is this really quite thin cotton yarn, and it's beautiful, it's so soft, I love it. But I also decided to do it all in single crochets, again American terminology, and it has taken me so long, and I'm not even halfway done with the front panel. There's my swatch, which is not sitting flat. I started this project just completely freehand without really that much of a plan, and the stripes came out completely disproportionate. They were not in the proportions that I wanted them to be, and I was not at all happy. So after about 8 hours work, I frogged it. I have gotten this far, which isn't very far, but if I hold it up to myself of where I want it to be, I think it's gonna sort of come to like here. I'm basically just gonna make 2 big old rectangles, sew them together, similar rectangles but obviously with the pattern that way around for the sleeves, and it's not as like blended and ombre as Enid's actual sweater that she wears in the show, but I think you can still tell the pattern that it is supposed to be, her sweater pattern, and I personally really like it. I love the colours, and even if you can't tell that it's Enid's sweater, I think it's just a really fun colour palette. Now for one last work in progress, I have another Shein bag, and this one has squares in it. And if you watched my previous video, you may know that I bought a bunch of different yarns and fibres from Hobie to experiment with, have a play with, and I decided to make squares out of them. And I'm going to show you some of those squares. So I started with just some yarn that I had lying around in some fun colours. So I have made one in this green, and you're going to see one that is very similar to it, but I promise they are different. I have made 3 in this colour green and 3 in this yellow, because I thought what better to accent a bunch of green squares with than a few yellow squares. And then with some yarn that I was gifted, I have made these squares which remind me of moss, like, you know, foliage moss, and I just absolutely love the colours in this, and I just wanted to show that off because I think it is absolutely gorgeous. I made this square, which is made from 50 grams of La Paz alpaca yarn. It is the softest thing I think you have ever felt, and I can't convey that on camera, but it just, if you can, look at the fuzz on that. It's fuzzy but not massively fuzzy, and it's quite heavy as well for a fibre. Like, it's a lot heavier than acrylic when it's worked up, but I love this shade of green and I just wanted to show that off. And then the final 2 fibres that I experimented with was some 100% wool in a lovely dark green colour, which again you will have seen in my previous video, and I was able to make 4 of these gorgeous dark green squares here. And then finally with these fibres I was able to make 4 of these squares, which are made with, again, very fuzzy, very fluffy, it's Diablo Wild print, or maybe it's Diablo multi print, I'm not sure, again from Hobie, and it just has this gorgeous fluffy texture. In addition to all of these whips, I have several bags of yarn which are ready to go for projects that I want to make but haven't had a chance to yet. I've got 2 pattern tests that I've got the yarn for but haven't actually started yet. I've got 2 more pattern tests that I need to order yarn for, and I've got 2 pattern tests that I am currently in the process of making. I didn't show you the one I'm in the process of making. Oh my god. Alright, give me a second. I can't believe I forgot that. As my final whip, I have this, which will eventually be a tie front cardigan, which has these gorgeous lacy square details, which I absolutely love, and it doesn't fit me unfortunately, but the creator, the pattern writer, has said that I can modify it until it fits me. It's been a whole saga, I'm not gonna lie, and the back is a bit too long, but I'm gonna modify it so it fits me. And if you follow me on Instagram, you will see all my progress updates and everything on there for that. I will link the creator's Instagram below. Thank you so much for watching. This has been a really fun video to do. I have a massive pile of whips next to me and yarn all over my room. If you want to see the aforementioned bags of yarn for future projects, let me know and I can do a quick video explaining one of those. If you want a crochet with me, a tutorial, any kind of video suggestions, let me know down in the comments. I have 2 videos coming for the end of March, early April, which will be how much yarn I've used in a month, which, spoiler alert, it's a lot, and how much can I crochet in March. Actually not that much. Stay tuned for those. Please interact, like, comment, subscribe, anything like that. Love you all. Thank you so much for the support on my other videos. And just to let you know, I am planning a giveaway when I get to 100 subscribers, which I know is probably a long way off. Goodbye, have a lovely rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, just have a great time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.